So you just hosted a citizenship town hall, Faithful Citizenship. You described New York having unusual rules for voters. Can you describe that?
Yeah, I mean, New York makes it particularly hard to not only register to vote, but actually to vote. And I think that is really frustrating for so many people, particularly young people, who are coming in many cases from other states and want to register. And the fact that you have to register early, about a month early, and the fact that you can't change your party registration, it makes it very difficult for people to get out to the polls. And then when it's time to vote, we ask people to go to the polls an awful lot. You know, 3 primaries. We're the only state that has 3 primary elections this year. That's ridiculous. So I think it's time New York changed its voting laws, and so several of us have been pushing for this, and hopefully it happens soon.
New York is coming up. Obviously, that is the big ticket. Bernie Sanders has been catching up to Hillary Clinton. I think she's getting a little bit scared now. What does he have to do to kind of win the New York primary?
Yeah, he's coming up strong, and to his credit, when he is on the ground, he does incredibly well. So he has 2 weeks now to meet and to really energize the Democratic base. And if he's able to do what he was able to do in Wisconsin, for instance, where he closed a huge gap and came out in the lead, when he's able to do what he was able to do in all of these western states where he has really beat her by huge numbers, he could have a very good shot at New York. Now, of course, she is a former senator here. Her campaign headquarters are here. She is a registered Democrat for a long time. He's an independent, so he has some things working against him. She knows all the Democrats in the state. But that said, he does have a shot here, and I think even if he's able to narrow the gap and come in close, that could be really tough for Hillary Clinton.
Ted Cruz was going to come to the Bronx. That was going to be his big ticket, hopefully really help him out. I don't know if you heard this, but they canceled his visit at a charter school because they said that he doesn't reflect the school's views. How do you think that's going to affect him?
Ted Cruz is going to have a lot of problems in New York. First of all, he's not the type of Republican that is going to be embraced by Republicans in New York. He's also made some ill-advised comments about New Yorkers that Donald Trump rightly took umbrage at during a debate and after a debate. So he's coming up to this New York primary with a huge deficit because he's not appealing to New Yorkers. Many of his social economic issues are not the type that would appeal to more moderate New York Republicans. And as I mentioned, he said things that were many New Yorkers found offensive. And also, of course, he's up against somebody who is a New Yorker. He's up against somebody whose name is on buildings across New York, and so well known that that explains in part why Donald Trump has this huge double-digit lead in New York, and it's probably going to be a lead that sustains.
Of course. John Kasich, I mean, the math shows he has almost little to no chance. Why do you think he's still staying in this race?
Because I think he really believes that he is an alternative to Ted Cruz and Donald Trump. So many Republicans you talk to are not satisfied with the prospect of voting for a Ted Cruz or a Donald Trump. And I think John Kasich feels like, while he acknowledges he can't win the delegate battle straight out, if he gets to a contested convention, a lot of Republicans there that are delegates may decide that he is the best person to go up against Hillary Clinton in the fall. And so he keeps making the case that he, in the head-to-heads, would beat Hillary Clinton in a way the other candidates cannot.
Okay. What do you think the top issues of main concern are going to be in this election?
I think the top issues are the economy, certainly, and jobs, unemployment, so that's one key issue. I think there's also a lot of concern about healthcare, the cost of pharmaceuticals, the cost of drugs, the cost of healthcare in general. Certainly terrorism and national security, particularly of concern for Republicans, and particularly of concern because of everything that's gone on most recently in Brussels. And then I think there's a variety of other issues of concern. The fact that the U.S. government isn't working in the way it should, the fact that we have a lot of divisiveness when it comes to issues over crime, immigration, social issues. So there's a whole bunch of other issues underlying those, but I think the top 3 or 4 are jobs, the economy, unemployment, terrorism, national security, and healthcare.